contribution plans. So we have discussed the differences. We know that in contribution plans, how much you are supposed to contribute is known, like what percentage, what amount or what percentage of your salary is to be contributed every month. Every month has to be known. So that is defined contribution. Final benefit is never fixed. Final benefit, as we discussed, that it can be any amount. It depends upon what is the rate of return. If it is market linked, so sometimes you get positive return, sometimes you get negative return. If it is fixed returns also, but fixed returns also keeps on changing, like provident fund. So provident fund, sometime back it was like 9.5% returns. Then it became 8.5. Now I think off late it is around 7.5%. So it keeps on changing based on the accumulation types of and based on accumulation types of plans. Contribution plan can be employee provident fund and employee pension scheme. Employee pension scheme we have already discussed, which generally goes under defined benefit because the benefit is out of the formula. But normally what happens is why they also consider it under the defined contribution, because we know that how much contribution happens towards the provident fund every month. So there is a out of our salary, employer contributes and employee contributes. Both will be contributing. Now they contribute 12% of the salary. Okay. Now 12% of the salary, there is a bifurcation. Some amount goes to the EPF and some amount goes to EPS. Whatever employer contributes, out of 12%, 8.33% normally goes to pension fund. And the balance 3.67% goes to provident fund. And whatever employees contribute, entire 12% goes to provident fund and nothing will go under pension. So generally for pension, it is only the employer who's responsible to pay and employer is responsible to do the contribution. So in total, you can see that in provident fund, 15.67% goes in provident fund in a month and 8.33% goes in pension out of the total 24% contribution. This is how the contribution happens. Now, if you are actually an employee working in any private sector or any such non-government organization, if you see your provident fund receipt, like you would be having some statement. So that provident fund statement, you may get something like this. There will be a long, I don't know these days if they are giving this type of statement or not. This is normally divided in 3 parts. This is divided in 3 parts. One is like the opening balance. Your employee and employer contributions, like the balances. So over here, the employee ka opening balance for the provident fund, let's say it is 2.5 lakhs. You may see this will be around 70,000 or something. Then this will be the contribution. So again, the contribution for the employee and the employer. So the contribution in the year, employee ka contribution, you may see that it will be, let's say, 60,000 rupees, and employer ka contribution will be around 15-20,000 rupees, something like that. And then the closing balance. Have you seen such receipt, that statement, provident fund ka? Have you observed this?
Yes, sir. Can we not see this online?
You can see online. You can see online. You can also get it in your mobile, like an SMS statement. Subject to your phone number should be linked to your some number will be there. URN or some number would be there. So if it is linked, you can always log in, or you can actually get it on your mobile. Because previously, these facilities were not there, so people used to get these hard copy these statements, which would be like the long statements. But now I think every employee keeps on getting it, the updates on their mobile itself. But my intention is to tell you that you just observe that the employee balance and contributions will generally be more than the employer contribution, because although employer is contributing 12%, but employer ka almost 8.33% goes towards pension, which doesn't reflect over here. So this doesn't reflect over here. The pension contribution would not reflect, only the provident fund contribution will reflect. That is the reason a lower amount would be reflecting in these statements. So in fact, you can say that EPS is more like a hybrid benefit, where there is a fixed contribution is happening, and at the same time, at the end, there is a fixed benefit also which is given. So it is more of a hybrid. Okay. Contribution to PF from his salary invested in gilt edge securities, withdrawals can be made as per the condition. So this, when an employer has a provident fund, they normally either have a registered trust, and it can be self-managed. So the employer can manage the provident fund themselves, where they have to get themselves approved from the pension commissioner and income tax commissioner, income tax department, which will be known as a recognized provident fund. And if it is not approved, then it will become unrecognized provident fund. And normally, if it is recognized, so they have two options. As I said, okay, either they can do self-manage, or they can transfer all this money to EPFO, Employee Provident Fund Organization. So all that contribution will be managed by the EPFO, like the government organization, and they will be investing all this money in the debt instruments, gilt securities, government securities and all, and they will be paying the interest which is timely given by the government. Like every time the government keeps on setting the interest rates. So as per that, they will try to generate the returns. They may not invest the money in stock markets or unnecessary risky instrument. Maybe they might put a little percentage of that money into stocks, but majority of that money will be invested only in fixed income securities. And at the time of retirement, a lump sum balance, as how provident fund is being paid. Now over here, as we were discussing, so the provident funds can be for government employees, for non-government employees. For government employees, it is known as statutory provident fund. And for non-government, we have recognized provident fund and unrecognized provident fund. We have these two, recognized and unrecognized. So statutory provident fund, which is basically meant for the government employees under Provident Fund Act 1925. It is maintained by government for employees of government, semi-government organizations, local authorities, railways, universities, and other recognized institutions under government. Now again, under government, you have general and contributory provident fund. You have general provident fund, you have contributory provident fund. What is the difference here? In general provident fund, basically there is no contribution from the government side towards your provident fund. Okay, it's there. So we will just look into the next slide. What is the taxability? See, basically the general and contributory is where there is a contribution by employer, that is government, and employee. Your general provident fund, there is only a contribution by employee. Why there is no contribution from the employer? Because here these are the people who will be having pension benefits. So for them, there won't be any contribution from the government towards provident fund. Because they are having pension benefits, here there is no pension benefits. Likewise. So employees are eligible for rebate under Section 80C. So whatever we are contributing from our side, whatever are the amount deducted from our salary slip, that will be, will be eligible for deduction under Section 80C up to that limit of 1.5 lakhs. Employer's contribution, whatever employer is contributing towards our provident fund, it is a tax-free income in the hands of the employee. Interest is also completely tax-free. There is no interest taxation. And repayment, whenever the employee resigns or retires, he will be getting full amount. Whatever is the amount will be fully tax-free.
Reach out today and let's do it professionally.